Hello and welcome to Learning from Lauren. I am Lauren, your host, and I am here today to talk to you about how to become more independent as a travel advisor. Now, this is for people who have already become travel advisors and are maybe starting out in the first 6 months and trying to become more independent, meaning that they can figure out some information on their own and just become more independent. And this comes up a lot. If you don't know, I'm Lauren. I'm a travel advisor. I'm also a teacher of 21 years. And I really enjoy helping people learn how to become a travel agent or advisor. And I get so many questions about this all the time. And what I'm saying is, when I'm a travel agent, and I post things on social media, I will get people and other travel agents who will ask me questions about it. There is another travel agent that I don't work with, but I know, and she talks about it all the time too with me that, like, why are all these people contacting us about becoming travel advisors and like how to become a travel advisor? Like, you wouldn't ask. Typically, if you have questions as a travel advisor and you don't know them, you would go to the other travel agents in your travel agency or your host agency. You wouldn't be going to other travel agents in other travel agencies, if that makes sense. So, the other agents you work with, you would ask them questions, but you wouldn't necessarily go and reach out to other agents that are not in your agency. So, that would be my first step is don't do that. Don't ask other agents unless you're like in a Facebook group and it's specific for agents that that like everyone works with and you're asking questions that way. But what I'm saying is I started this channel because people kept filling my inbox with, how do you know this? Where did you find that information? How do you know how to book this? Like, I don't know how to do this. And it's shocking to me that you would not know how to book certain things. These are basic things that you should have learned when you were training. And if you're not getting that training, that should be a concern for you for what you're getting. And if you're reaching out to me and not another travel agent that you actually work with, that's a little bit of a concern too, because you should feel comfortable talking to the other agents in your agency to ask questions. And I ask questions. It's not like I'm like the all answerer of all questions. Like, I have questions all the time about things, and that's totally fine. So, the first step in becoming independent is asking the people that you work with. Now, if you don't work with people and you're independent, that was kind of your choice. So you have to start learning how to become independent. You decided that you wanted to work with a host that doesn't really help you and you're kind of on your own. So that's your choice. That's fine. But then you have to show those independent skills. Another thing that you want to do is, before you ask questions, you want to see, where can you find that information? Because sometimes when you send information to clients, you need to screenshot where you're finding it from the vendor's website. And we're still in COVID times. You have to be able to say, I can't tell you, this is the COVID policy. This is what you need to follow. You should not be telling them what the COVID policy is in like an email in your own words, because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So you want to make sure that you can find the information on your own. Now, there is some information that is just not readily available, and that's fine. But you want to start looking for that information independently. And I will tell you that for all the vendors that I have pages of things that I have learned, and I just have it on like a running list. So if I learn something, if I ask a question in our group, I will then put it on this running document that I have about Disney World, or if it's about Universal, or if it's about a specific cruise line. Like, I put it in a specific spot and I have it, so I have it for next time. And I'll include the links if I find it online, things like that. So I'm letting you know that in order to become more independent, you actually have to start becoming independent. You have to start thinking like, okay, there are some things I can figure out on my own. When is final payment due? If I Google when is final payment due for this cruise line, I could probably find that information quickly. Now, I will say that when you're working with all these different type of systems, like every cruise line apparently needs to have their own system. And that means that I need to know how all those things work. There are some times where I'm like, oh, I haven't booked that one in a while. I need to go ask my agency owner, how do I book this again? Or like, what are the new, like, there's always some nuance to getting, it's not straightforward. I don't know why cruise lines have to make it so hard and they make it sound so easy, but they really divide everything up a lot. So just make sure if it's something that you're looking for that you think you can Google, try Googling it first. I know sometimes when clients ask you questions, you have this need to answer immediately, but you want to try and not be in that habit of always answering immediately because you, one, want to get it correct. That's the goal, is to get the correct answer to your client. And the other thing is that you don't want it to seem like you have like they're your only client or that you work 24/7. So no matter when they email you or anything like that, that there's nothing else that you do but answer their emails. So think about that when you're doing it. I'm not saying you can't answer right away sometimes. Sometimes it's something quick and you could just answer it right away. But typically, you can wait some time. It's okay. You can, wait 5 minutes even and just respond then. Make sure your answer is correct, that you've read through your email and you've sent it off to them. But that is the way you become more independent, is you start figuring out some stuff on your own. And I know that's super hard. It's very hard in the beginning to really think, and you almost like need that confidence that you know the right answer, or you don't need to check every single time you respond to a client. Like, you've got this, you know what you're doing. It's scary at first, yes, but you'll learn. It's fine. My first there's so many clients that you learn from in the beginning. Like, I will remember my first cruise client, and I did not push them to stay the night before. And like a month before their cruise, they were like, yeah, I think we should stay the night before. And I was like, yeah, you should. But I didn't want to say it because I felt like I was being too pushy or too salesy. And now someone tries to book a cruise. I'm like, great. So you have to fly in the day before. This is where you're going to stay. And this is what you're going to do. Here's your transportation. Like, I don't even give them a choice now because I am much more confident in that. And that's fine if that's not how you start off. You will learn. I was talking with another travel agent today, and I was like, sometimes you don't even know what you don't know until you actually go through booking a client. And there was something that they were like, I didn't even know I needed to tell this to my client. Like, what a ridiculous thing. Like, how would they not know that? But there are some things sometimes that we just automatically think that you still have to tell the client. So those are important distinctions there. I am also working on something that I wasn't planning on that I will announce next week that might help you also, but I just suggest that when in doubt, try to figure out the information first. And worst comes to worst, say, I'm just checking. Is the cancellation date this for this cruise line? Is that still a thing? Just making sure before I tell the client. And to ask that into your actual agents that you work with or your agency owner that you work with first. Don't ask everyone in the entire world about it first. All right? You've got this. You can do it. So that will do it for today's show. Again, if you like these videos, if you could like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. We are live every day in July to better help you become a travel advisor. So I will see you next time on Learning from Lauren. Bye.